Sonic 06. This game, bro. It's literally an example of a mixed bag. Like, honestly, this game has been through all three stages. Hated and broken, a confused mess, and now a lovable game? Why? What made this possible? Well, let's take another look. Oh, this game's 15 years old now, huh? Okay. Well then, how about a retrospect look at this game? What it do, guys? It's your boy Socks for 5 and 6, and we're here today to take a look at Sonic 06 in retrospect. Real quick though, I do need to shout out two people who did help make this video come to life. First being Fcplaythroughs for providing most of the gameplay for this essay video, and my older brother Ceddit for providing his thoughts on 06's story. Speaking of the video, you guys already know how I am. I'm breaking this up into 3 parts: gameplay, story, and my overall thoughts of how the game still holds up today 15 years later. Let's not hold you guys any longer. Here is my official retrospect look of my favorite game, Sonic 06. Okay, to start this part of the video off, I'll go ahead and say this is for sure the shortest part of the two because my thoughts truly haven't changed on the gameplay since I was a boy. And speaking of which, I recently replayed the game, and though most of the footage in this video isn't me playing, though for like some certain points that I make out, it probably is me playing, I did take a lot of pictures. And God, is it still shit? Jeez, like it isn't even funny at this point. For instance, Sonic's gameplay on my disc literally jerks and jitters every couple seconds, and God forbid I be on a ledge. Sonic has a few types of what I'll call modes, or sections in his level as well. I'll save the one that gave me all for later. If Sonic's not playing regularly and is just like base form, he's either snowboarding to start a level or he's carrying Elise. Like I said, not on all levels, but a few. The snowboarding is the worst. It downgraded from both SA1 and 2. It's sad, honestly. This clip should really just sum it up. But the other mechanic I mentioned, Sonic holding Elise. Honestly, it isn't a setback. Sure, he slowed down a bit, but Sonic's set speed in this game was slow to begin with. So even today, it's hard to tell when it's really in the way. So sure, Sonic's base form being toned down to a slower pace is something to be a little upset about, but I have to say, Sonic and Elise's levels are great, not to mention the level design. Yes, the great level design for this stage actually is one of the few positives, but doesn't get much rectification because this gameplay is just atrocious. And not to beat a dead horse here, you guys already know, the game's gameplay is atrocious because of 1, Sonic's gravity, 2, just the glitches falling through a stage. In some of the levels, for me personally, it's the sandy dunes thing. I think I'll have a screenshot right now. And like just running into a checkpoint and getting stuck or toppling over, it's very sensitive, let's just say that. So if someone can make a mod with SA1 gameplay in a Kingdom Valley setting, please DM me. Kingdom Valley is my favorite level of all time. And though it is still bad, I can't say I don't love the concept. And like many people have said, if this game was at least good, like it could have still bombed to a degree, but it was like, okay, I can get away with playing this game for fun, maybe every few days. This game probably would have stuck with the, I'll call it the adventure formula still. Knowing Sega, they still would have screwed it up over the next 15 years, I'm just saying. Another thing I want to note was, did the gameplay really just fall that hard downhill when Yuji Naka decided to leave? This game was destined to go downhill when they figured out they needed to get this game out for a holiday deadline, as long as which I found in this article. Sonic the Hedgehog was originally intended for release on all major 7th generation consoles, as well as Microsoft Windows, but when presented with development kits for Nintendo's less powerful Wii console, the team was split into 2. Nakama led one team to finish Sonic the Hedgehog for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, while producer Yorujuo Agawa led the other half to begin to work on Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Wii. The split left an unusual small development team to work on Sonic the Hedgehog, so Sega began pursuing the team to release the game Christmas 2006. So with the deadline quickly approaching, Sonic team rushed the final stages of development, ignoring existing bugs and design issues. Various planned features were dropped, such as time of day and night mechanic similar to later implemented in Sonic Unleashed, and additional multiplayer components. Some of that makes me sad because it's just what could have been. This really could have been like one of the greatest games of all time. But also reading this helped me understand this game had like no chance after the split. Like ignoring game bugs? Bro, pursuing your team to finish it? What did they expect? But again, Sonic 06 gameplay. Nothing special, but my own opinions on it when I play. Extremely fun. Again, I love this game, and I can't say I dislike the gameplay too much, just those super speed sections at the end of most of Sonic's levels. Christ have mercy on me. If you can beat this on your first try as a first-time player, you best believe you have my respect. These made me act like Flight Reacts playing Fall Guys, and that's pretty bad.
Yo, I'm selling the bag.
Bro, move, man! I can't see
Come on, Flight, go.
Go, motherfucker! God damn!
The other two hedgehogs in the game are Silver and Shadow the Hedgehog. Silver's gameplay is genuinely just hindered by him being really slow, his telekinesis is terrible range, and him being a lacking but also half OP type of character. But as for Shadow, there's nothing defining about his character, it's just kinda there. Now, quick random gag. Let's talk about all the stupid side characters in this game. Like, I don't know, let's start with Amy. She's absolutely the worst character in this game. Again, gameplay wise. We've all heard it. The range of her Pico Pico hammer is awful. She's slower than Silver as a kid. I could never comprehend that. Now Tails, he's got my one and only complaint, and that's his flying. How do you muck it up that badly? Like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yes, 06 is my favorite Sonic game, but genuinely, I don't understand it. How do you go backwards? You have past history how to utilize Tails. It's just really that sad. Knuckles and Rouge, besides getting stuck on walls, there's not much to complain about. Again, gameplay wise. I'll talk about how they screwed up Knuckles' character in another scene later. And last is Blaze. She's actually one of my favorite characters, and I don't like her moveset a lot, kind of having a rip off of the homing attack, but she's like, fine. I got one last thing to talk about though, and that's the last episode. It's actually better than what most people give it credit for. Finding the Chaos Emeralds in a time limit, watching a below average CGI, we get a gross meme, and a pretty epic fight out of it. What's this got to do with the gameplay though? Nothing. The fight was basic. When I said epic, I mean, wow, we're really fighting Solaris. But again, with some things in this game, it's just fine. Nothing more. What would I say about the gameplay overall though? I'd say it's fun. Think of where I'm coming from. A younger Sonic fan and my first few games being like Secret Rings, Colors, Black Knight. I didn't play the adventure games till my early teens, and the more and more I hear, I can easily understand why the 05 and 06 kids don't really like the gameplay. There's no flair in it, nothing special, and Sonic's just a product of his natural environment. And quick side tangent, I feel like that's what Sonic Frontiers is trying to fix. Anyways, that's all I got for the gameplay. I'm gonna talk about the story, but first, let's hear from our special guest, Ceddit. Ceddit is an older Sonic fan who first started with the classic games to the adventure games and came across the tragedy that was 06. And I'll shut up now so you can hear him.
Thanks, Socks. Appreciate it. Let's take a look at this game as a whole. For me, I've always looked at Sonic 06 as being Sonic Adventure 3, but failed. They didn't want to go with the name because they knew they kind of dropped the ball. Can't blame Sega for that. You know, that save of changing the name. I'm glad they did, but essentially no matter what, because we're not ever going to get Sonic Adventure 3, this is Sonic Adventure 3. Whether we want to believe it or not, it is Sonic Adventure 3. So let's touch on the story. Just taking a look at this, I gotta say I'm not a big fan of the whole Soliana concept. The good thing about Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, they kind of kept it in one place. Sonic 1, you had Station Square, and you can say the city that most of the events in Sonic Adventure 2 isn't Station Square, but it might be somewhere close to Station Square. So we're still not far off from where the source material was. But here we're in Soliana for the bulk of the game, and I generally do like where they were going with everything. I could rock with it. Feel like the main things that they dropped the ball on happened subtly. So in the beginning, you got Sonic coming in on the rescue for Elise, And yeah, a big thing most people don't like is this fake build romance that the two end up slowly building, even though it's kind of one-sided because Sonic really was just being Sonic. And Sonic's a lovable guy, so he kind of made her fall in love unintentionally, like he did to another pink hedgehog. But even before that scene takes place, you have Silver's story, the beginnings of his, and I'm gonna talk chronological order on how the story goes. So the real first scene is Silver, Blaze, and Mephiles having this conversation in this computer room, and Mephiles pretty much explaining to Silver how the world got to the state that it's in. And as we know, this is many years in the future from Sonic's time. And a thing that was okay with me at first was how they were going about it. But essentially, this is, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, this is essentially Trunks going back in time to try to rewrite a future. That's what Silver's doing, essentially. Which is kind of odd for me, because you have Mephiles, who is the cause of the world's destruction, assisting them in going back in time to rewrite the past or rewrite the future. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll continue forward. So almost instantly, Elise gets kidnapped right after Sonic just saved her in exchange for a Chaos Emerald. So he keeps a Chaos Emerald and she goes with Eggman. And she's more useless than Amy. I kind of wholly wish they would have just stuck with the animal road and not incorporated main character human woman. Not to be biased or of anything, but it just seems like it was a little less received because of that in itself. And Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 included humans and even had a few that were side characters but still on the main plot, such as the President in Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 1 a little bit less. Really just Eggman was the main human character that was prevalent. But it still showed humans, like humans inhabited Station Square. So it was better received that, this is how these animals gain recognition in this world of still dominated humans, dominated by humans. So it was more well received. But then you find out there's this whole other location named Soliana that has a queen human. Apparently this queen human has visual memory of a hedgehog of sorts, which she mistakes with Sonic. As we see in one of the beginning scenes, she kind of sees Silver as Sonic and was like, this is the same hedgehog, which classic Amy mistake, as we all know. But moving forward, Sonic, does the Sonic stuff, goes on his levels adventures, through this ocean level and eventually the sand level, where he saves Elise again, and they have this special moment again where, he's like, just smile, and that's all I need. You do that, I'm happy. And, she starts to, no man has ever said that to me. I like this, It's clear she's had no romantic history, and Sonic's giving her first little toe dip of it, so she's enjoying that. And you can't be misunderstanding of it, because she ain't never had no play. I mean, if you ain't never had no play, you're gonna take the first thing you get, right? So that's kind of why her and Sonic end up catching a fling one-sided, because Sonic's like, I'm just doing me, and saving people and animals is part of being me, so And she's like, oh, well, no man has ever done that for me before. No, not even an animal. So, I'm going to take what I get. So she's got high expectations of, doing something with Sonic. And we're not going to dive more into that right now. We're going to touch that when it becomes more prevalent at the end of this. So, back in Silver. So Silver's never seen a peaceful world. I'm guessing when he was born, he came into this world as what his future looks like, which is kind of nuts for me because he's in the city and everything's all burnt up and stuff. And it's like, is everything just sitting burnt? How long has things been burning? I understand Iblis is fire, but, is it a permanent burning flames on the cities that are still standing? I'm not quite understanding that. Never did understand that, but I'm assuming they have like civilizations like in outskirts of the city remnants everywhere, and that's kind of where Silver grew up. And he's just looking at the city, the burnt city. He's like, how did everything become like this and stuff like that? But he's very aware of Iblis. And not only that, I'm still assuming powers are normal in the future because he has powers, quite weird powers at that, to just be having. No true explanation on that, which is it's not a big problem, but at least for Shadow, when he was introduced in Sonic Adventure 2, we understood, and even in Sonic Adventure 1, new characters are generally broken down to an understanding, and Silver just really didn't get that. It's clear that Blaze is aware of Sonic from Sonic Rush. I like that. That was good touch. And even Blaze has powers. Don't really get touched on, and even still, she ends up passing away during this story. So it's like, okay, we just killed her off. She didn't get to see Sonic again before her kill off. So, but the weird thing is she's from this other time period, so it's very confusing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't get that, because she's from the future and she knew a blue hedgehog in the future, but comes to the present and like Sonic Rush didn't. Maybe I need to re-look at Sonic Rush, because I guess maybe that took place in the future too. I haven't played Sonic Rush in such a long time, so I'm gonna have to retouch on that. But I did like homage to Sonic Rush that they did. Blue Hedgehog, that Blaze said, so I did enjoy that. Rouge as a whole in this whole game, man, I could do without Rouge, because she gets a bullcrap mission, okay? And it comes out the literal blue. You're giving a mission, a solo mission at that, to find the quote-unquote Book of Darkness. But for why? What sparked this necessity for Gun to want to find this book? Like, I'm completely flabbergasted and lost on why this became prevalent at the time that it did. Did they get some indication that something was going down all of a sudden? Because it even shows and signals that her mission began before Mephiles even came back into the picture from the future. Before Silver and Blaze showed up, like her mission had already began. So it's like, what indication did Gun receive that we need to look for this Book of Darkness for some reason? And not only that, did we even get a clear reason for why they wanted it? Forget we need to find it. Why do you even want it? Now let's touch on Omega, because as I was going through the game, it really kind of irked me that when they went to the future, Shadow and Rouge and Sonic and Tails and Knuckles were there as well, but when they went into the future, they found Omega, and he was there. this many years in the future, okay? So we're talking so many years later. Like, I don't want to quote it because I don't remember how many years they said, but we're talking 100 plus, okay? And it being 100 plus years later, Omega's still like normal. If it's just 100, I guess that's understandable. But if we're creeping into the 1,000 range, why is Omega still around, and why is he sitting in this burning city? Why this city? What is this? Is this Soliana? Like, what? Help me understand that. And obviously we come to find out that his standby mode was the mission that Rouge gave him in the past. So again, help me understand this. Omega comes back to the present with Shadow, right? So shouldn't there be 2 Omegas? Shouldn't there be? Because think about it. She gave him the mission in the present. It didn't activate until the future. And even Omega said that when he met up with Shadow and Mephiles. He said time sequence or whatever has initiated. It's time to fulfill the mission type stuff. So that was the Omega that was in the future. So Omega didn't go use Chaos Control to go to the future and meet up with Shadow. That was the one that they had found in standby mode. And he came back to the present with Shadow. Shouldn't there be 2 Omegas? It's hard to wrap my brain around all of this. It's just difficult. So I'm gonna give the game as a whole, or this story of it, a 6 out of 10. And that's because the whole thing just wasn't bad. It just wasn't, no matter what. It wasn't, the whole thing was not bad, but a lot of things could have been fixed. So 6 out of 10 is me being generous. It really deserves like a 4 out of 10 because the bad parts are that bad. But I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I like the game. I like it, and will never say I love it, but I like the game. And that is my review over the story of Sonic Adventure 3, aka Sonic 06. Go ahead, Socks, take over, man.
Now, here's my 1 cent on the story. To switch it up though, I'm gonna focus more on the characters so me and Ceddit don't really copy each other. So first, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. How more average can you get? Sonic isn't necessarily bad in this game, he's alright. But like all the characters in this game, he's got that treatment of, oh, I'm pretty deaf and dumb. Or, oh, I don't even know what's going on in the story, but I'm the main character treatment. He's still in character from previous titles in my opinion, but just so I don't beat a dead horse, Sonic's real issue in this game is the awkward, and I mean awkward, relationship between him, Elise, and Amy. Now, why do I say Amy? And why am I one to talk about how characters' relationships bounce off each other? That first statement I mentioned, the relationship between Amy, Sonic, and Elise. Right now, Elise loves Sonic. Amy shouldn't be okay with this because up to this point with Sonic games, Amy was still dang crazy in love with Sonic, almost obsessed with him. And on my channel, as you guys know, I do have a story-driven plush series called Sonic Tales, and for future episodes, I've been writing relationships, and I'll just say I'm not a wizard at it or anything, but the main thing to focus on is trial and error to be successful. Looking back, Elise and Sonic just kind of give long-lasting looks and eye-splitting winks, but I will never be a part of that retarded group that says that this is an attempt at bestiality. Anyways, mini speed round, let's go ahead and rant about Tails and Knuckles. Tails, he's not very apparent in the story whatsoever. He's really just there to say smart things when something smart needs to be said because none of the other characters are good enough to do it.
A Chaos Emerald! You've already found one!
Knuckles. Oh, for the love of God, please buckle in for this next part of the mini rant.
This is the start of Knuckles' downfall, more than Heroes, because at least he acknowledged the Master Emerald in that game. Like, not even in this one, he doesn't even look at Okay, it's okay. Not in this one, though, but it's fine, I promise. It's fine. He acts more like a goof, not catching a literal disc, falling on his head, and whatever this is, I'm a hothead and stuff. That's not Knuckles! I'm glad the Sonic Movie 2 gets him right. I miss cool Knuckles. Please, bring back cool Knuckles. How did they get it wrong?
Okay, ran over. Let's move on to Shadow, the best character developed person out of this entire mess. Shadow. This is how you write a character after a death comeback. Shadow faces a lot, being such a powerful targeted being. Not to beat a dead horse with this, repeating how great the story is, reliving the promise he made to Maria at the end of Adventure 2, by not giving in to Mephiles' ways at Flame Core, having that team chemistry with Team Dark, like saving Rouge, feeling hurt when Omega tells him he'll be the one to end him in the future, and that bone-chilling feel we all got when he says this.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
This is how to write a petty, edgy character. Shadow was a great character and a reason people love Sonic so much. And 06 nailed that aspect. Same for Rouge and Omega. Like, I don't have much to say about them, but they were really good complementary characters. Now on to the last hedgehog out of the three, Silver the Hedgehog. Silver's introductory is... It feels like
it'll never end.
He's not a bad character and is actually my top 5 favorite Sonic characters of all time. It's just... he's a main character. Okay, I wrote that on my script as if I actually thought it was an issue that he's a main character. Just let me rephrase. He's a main character, but he feels like a pick on me type of character. But I won't say he's a product of his own mess. No. That honor belongs to frickin' Blaze. I get Silver is gullible, but Blaze has no reason to be this naive, and it's ironic because she calls Silver naive. Because she's with Silver when he first, I don't even know what you call this, looks into the emerald and sees Sonic behind a fiery background. I mean, I sorta did this in my plush series, but I did it where it wasn't like nearly this stupid. I had a Chaos Emerald at least be verbal and tell Sonic that he was the chosen one. This, Silver practically does nada. And Silver's character, I mean, sure, even when the story gets more confusing, he's pretty much the same character. I personally don't see much growth with him. And he's supposed to be one of the main reasons you purchased the game to begin with. And he isn't even all of that. Again, I'm not even considerably disappointed. I'm just more so conflicted on what they were going for. As a writer myself, if you're going to introduce someone like Silver, he needs to have more care put behind his introduction. Now, Silver's mini story speed rounds. Ahem. Blaze. She's honestly okay. My only real complaint about her is that they should have made her a more believable character at the start than just being with Silver from the get-go. Now, the last thing for today, Mephiles and the final story. This is what we call lost potential. For Mephiles at least, not really the final story. Now I'm not going to cough up too much about Mephiles here because the PJ show does a fantastic character analysis on him. So if you want to hear a bit more about Mephiles, go watch his video, I'll link it in the description. But one of his points was incredible, and that's Mephiles just as evil because he can be. I mean, think about it. He's half a god and half a failed science experiment. He's a very smart antagonist and probably does all this complicated work, i.e. go into the future tricking Silver to eliminate Sonic, and once he sees that he can't kill him, he goes to the present to kill Sonic himself, just because he loves to torture people. If you were an evil person, half god, and could do dang near anything, you best believe you would make a little game out of it too. Just because he's that sadistic. Anyways, go watch PJ's video after this one. Trust me, it is not a waste of your time. So, the final story, as a story, is good. Not overly complex, which is what I like. Just get the Chaos Emeralds and then revive Sonic before Iblis and Mephiles make Iblis and Mephiles made out. Well, now the objective is go find the Chaos Emeralds, just, revive Sonic before we all die. Solaris is pretty cool, just wants to, erase everything. Wait, wouldn't that include himself? Anyways, to me, the story gets pretty weird once you finish the actual fight. Sonic and Elise are floating in nothingness, and this little sparkling orb thing is the true Solaris. And the way for everything to go back in tip-top shape and normal, they have to blow out the flame because no one should be able to go back in time to make everything perfect in their eyes. I mean, Elise says it herself. It brings devastation. So Elise says some selfish remarks, Sonic lets her know he's done hoeing around with her, and 06 never happened. Now, before I end the video, we have one more thing to talk about, and that's 06's everlasting impact on Sonic. You know why we still talk about it? Why fans like Chaos X make complete remakes, why SnapQ did dubs, and it's been memed over and over. And sure, that's because of the amazing fan base. But 06 was meant to be a generational game for Sonic. It was just rushed out of Sega's doors way too early. This 15th anniversary, just like most, was supposed to top the last big anniversary, which was Sonic Adventure 2. And it could have been possible! But 06 was a learning lesson for Sega. A good old slap in the face to make them understand. Delay the game, lose all our money now, and make up for it later. Thank you all so much for watching if you made it all the way here. Big shout out to Zextor for making today's thumbnail. If you guys liked it, go follow his Twitter. He's definitely here to stay so we can build up his name. This video was so much fun to make. I honestly want to do a retrospective series. Maybe once every month? Maybe on the disaster of Sonic Lost World. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, enjoy the outro, y'all. The next episode on the channel will be a Sonic Tales episode. I'll see y'all then. I love you guys. Wear your socks. Peace.
Coffee.